Hi, my name is Hal Thomas. I'm a private voice teacher here in Cincinnati, and this series is called Teaching Singing, Observation and Practice. The last chapter, episode 4, was about the first lesson for a female student and about how the shattered rebel alliance will rebuild and move again against the empire. This one, and I bet you figured this out already, is about starting the male student. Working with children of any gender and boys with changing voices will be topics for future episodes. I'll be discussing a first lesson for a male student who's pretty much full-grown, mid-teens to early 20s in age, definitely past puberty, although some women out there may assert we guys never get past puberty. Many of the preliminaries I covered in the previous chapter are exactly the same for either gender's first lesson, so of course I'm going to go over them again. What kind of a teacher would I be if I didn't repeat stuff? Just think of the following not as a review, nor as a procedural overlook, but what I like to think of as RI, regurgitory information. At a first lesson, you should be friendly and professional, continually gather information, listen to him sing something without negative judging or comments, introduce vocal production fundamentals, address special concerns, and advise him to practice every day. We'll be talking about a 30-minute first lesson in which, to keep this program under 5 months in length, everything goes smoothly. What will happen in real life, though, as you become more experienced, is you'll have lots of first lessons that go smoothly. So this is Owen. He sings in select choir at his high school and has just finished a lead role in that school's musical. He's kindly agreed to act as the first-time student today, right, Owen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what musical were you in?
The Addams Family musical.
And what role did you have?
Lucas Beinecke.
Very good. Notice the character, timbre, and general pitch of his speaking voice. The student's speaking voice will often give you clues about probable range and potential vocal strength. Okay, Owen, we're going to do Amazing Grace. Couple phrases each at different pitch levels. Here we go.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me.
Good. Remember to take a slow breath for each phrase. No need to rush. We'll go a little higher now.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me.
Sorry about my wrong notes. One more. Pretend you got a big audience out there. Here we go.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me.
All right, Owen, if you'd place your hands on your lower ribs, so you've got your fingers right on the very bottom ribs, and take a slow breath, aiming the air for the ribs, keeping your abdominal muscles relaxed. Here we go. Let it out. Try it again, see if you can really get those ribs to expand as you pull the air in. One more. That's better. Good. Turn the hands over. Take a deep breath again, expanding the back ribs. There you go. I could see that even happening through here with my X-ray vision. All right. Let it out. Good. Hang on to the lower ribs, fingers front again. Remember to keep the abdomen relaxed when you inhale. We're going to take a deep breath and hold it. And now flex the ribs 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Put your hands down. That's the idea. A technical note here. The preliminary breath exercises I've had Owen demonstrate are the same ones I give to female students. Aside from just helping them inhale and exhale with more awareness and control, they help to open the throat during inhalation and keep it open during the subsequent phonation phase, or the initiation of vocal timbre, also known as singing. For male singers in their teens to early 20s, these breath exercises aid in getting the larynx into the proper position. Young men, teenagers especially, will have little or no control over the position of their larynx, and this adversely affects the top of the voice. The choral conductor, Greg Smith, I'm name-dropping again, called it the puberty-stricken sound. I call it the high school voice. I still have mine tucked away. I'll demonstrate for you here. Ha. Okay so far. A typical young man's upper register singing will be done with the larynx high in the neck and pressing against the base of the tongue. This severely limits pharyngeal area resonance and can lead to a morass of bad habits. The musical result of this type of production posture is a thin, tight, nasal, strident, and often hoarse, distressing tone. I'd go on, but I've run out of adjectives. And often a young male singer will try to correct this deficiency with an arsenal of compensatory habits. All of them bad. Now, this high larynx in males is usually due to limited or underdeveloped breath technique, although you occasionally will find a guy now and then whose larynx drops naturally on inhalation and stays there. What I just had Owen do, practice aiming the inhalation to the lower ribs with a relaxed abdomen, is a way to help drop the larynx naturally with the action of the breath, a result devoutly to be wished. And the rib flex exercise helps a male singer improve and maintain a low larynx position as his vocal technique develops. Okay, Owen, put your hands on your lower ribs. Take a slow breath, and using one of those rib flexes, we're going to say, ha!
Ha!
Very good. Hi!
Hi!
You put one hand under the neck, say, ha!
Ha!
Feel that vibration there? Now you want to think of the sound coming right out from under your hand. We're going to do a little slide. Ha! If it's pretty, you're doing it wrong. Take a deep breath into the ribs.
Ha!
Hang on to the ribs again now. You've got the idea. Try to keep the ribs out. You start with the rib flex, keep the ribs out as you sing through the pattern. Ha! Help keep the ribs out by lifting the tummy as you sing. Last one. Try it on. Ho! All right, that was chest voice. Time for head voice, followed probably by the great debate about what constitutes male head voice. Falsetto, head resonance, or both, or none of the above. For my work, it's falsetto, which, as you know, is not false. The term refers to the imitation of a little boy's singing voice, a false voice, in other words. But for post-pubescent male singers, it is an incredibly useful tool and not false at all. Maybe we should call it realsetto. Introducing its production can be tricky, however. Some young male students will resist producing this sound. In the first lesson, I try to keep it simple. I explain that falsetto is the key to good high notes in the regular singing voice and should be developed and practiced. I often mention that a quarterback keeps his whole body in shape, not just his throwing arm. This gives him good physical balance for performance on the field. Working on the falsetto helps keep the male singing voice balanced. All right, Owen, can you say, hee? Hee! Yes, you can. Woo! Woo! Now that's it's the leftover boy's voice called falsetto, and you can do some of this on an E vowel. We're going to do a long face E rather than E, like that. Give it a shot. That's the idea. Try another one. Slow breath. Breathe slowly. Very good. Think of the sound starting with that rib flex. Here we go. It's a little out of tune, but we'll work on that. That's all right. Try not doing it quite so loud. Try it on who this time. Some teachers refuse, and I mean won't touch it, as in no way, no how, refuse to teach falsetto. Some feel it encourages the voice to break. I disagree. It's not the male equivalent of the female head voice. You should think of falsetto as that child boy's voice that can now be produced with grown-up equipment, and as the key to good head resonance in the upper register passages in songs. The sound's often referred to as the money notes. I'm going to drop a name again here, a big one, Luciano Pavarotti. He demonstrated in a televised masterclass and ascending scale in pure chest voice. As he went higher, his tone lost resonance and evolved into a tight and strident yell. He stopped near the top of the scale and said to the students, "You suspect a strangle, no?" I'll do the same thing, although don't expect me to sound like Pavarotti. And you do indeed suspect a strangle. Now, that same scale again with what I call falsetto influence. Sounds a little better. Still doesn't sound like Pavarotti. But the tone is more balanced, it's more resonant, and it's a lot easier to produce. You may have noticed by now in these demonstrations that except for the isolated falsetto, all of the vocalese move through a series of pitches. For now, suffice it to say that active vocaleses encourage and reinforce proper breath flow and support by their very nature. Feel free to pause the video and think about that. Discuss with your friends, or if you're a professor, draw up an assignment on that concept for your vocal ped class. Essay's optional. I very seldom do long tone work with my students except for that isolated falsetto exercise. Here's why. The sustained falsetto's great usefulness is this: resonance. It provides a prolonged and easily sensed buzz or ring in the bones of the head, a sensation that can be sought and captured by the singer in his regular singing voice, as I just did with that unstrangled scale. This has to do with physics and acoustics. Men have lower pitched voices than women. Wow, can you tell I paid attention in class? Because of that, on average, the vibrations per second for a male high A, 440 VPS, are less than an equivalent female high A, roughly 880 VPS. Due to the lower number of vibrations, again on average, it's easier for the male singer to feel that ring or buzz in his skull on an isolated open falsetto pitch. It's also proof, as you ladies often suspected, that men's heads are usually empty. To wrap up, you use the guy's first lesson to introduce and experience proper breathing, airflow within the chest voice exercises, and register identification, chest voice and falsetto. You may have noticed I have yet to assign a song for the students, and in most initial sessions I usually don't. I try to keep first lessons focused on introducing how to operate the instrument. We've examined 2 first lessons, one for each gender. First lessons are, aside from the technical goals you want to establish, opportunities for the student and teacher to learn about each other, to begin establishing mutual rapport and trust. A first lesson should be the start of a professional relationship and a friendship. That's all for now. I've learned wonderful things from my experiences in the last 257 years, and I'm delighted to share my thoughts about this exciting work with current singing teachers and you future ones. So thanks for watching and subscribing. If you haven't subscribed yet, you need to seek serious professional help. Goodbye. See you next time.